Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8 Second Gaming, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the best legends to play in each of the different roles. With the new season finally here, a lot of people might be just coming into the game for the first time, or you might be looking to swap your main. But who exactly should you be playing? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. But if you guys are really looking to take your Apex game to the next level, then you need to check out the GameLeap website right now. Over there we have top level coaches cranking out the best, most highly informative guides. Seriously, our coaches have been to ALGS finals, they've been Predator, they've played against the best and the best, and they've gained a ton of information and knowledge in doing so, and they're sharing that with you. So click the link in the description, pick yourself up a membership, and really improve today. But okay, jumping back into things, let's start talking about these legends, and what better place to start off with than with the entry fragger role. Now the entry fragger is the first one into the fight every single time, well ideally every time, and their job essentially is to just take all of the heat off their teammates so that they can push up without having to use any of their abilities or really getting pinned down. That's why entry fraggers always have some form of ability to help them get in and out of fights. But right now the two best legends that you want to play in this role are Bangalore and Wraith. Now Bangalore is actually a very surprising one in this role because before she was never an entry fragger, she was always a secondary fragger. But very recently the meta and playstyle have kind of shifted a little bit, and it's making Bang such a strong entry fragger. Her kit is much better designed for this role instead. Her smokes allow a ton of different line of sight playability, and you can easily cut people off from their team or running away or just a bunch of other stuff like that. Seriously, these things are super strong. While you're in a fight with somebody, you get the speed boost from your double time, making you a very strong 1v1 character, but then you can also just cut off line of sight from their teammates so that they get zero help in a fight. It's pretty much a guaranteed win if pulled off properly. Now I will give you guys a little bit of a warning. Bangalore is not very new player friendly. She is such a double-edged sword because you can mess your own team up just as much as you're messing the enemy team up. You can cut off your own teammates' line of sight. You can easily break yourself off from your team and make it so that the enemy team has a much easier time killing you. And if you misplay her ultimate even slightly, it can lead to you or your teammates being caught out, being shell-shocked, and just being a free kill. Unless you have a pretty decent understanding about line of sight and how the game kind of flows, I would not recommend playing her. But a safe bet always is our next legend, and this is Wraith. Wraith has always been a very solid staple pick in Apex ever since the game came out. She's basically just the poster child. And the reason that Wraith is so strong is because of her phase ability. This allows you to do stuff that no other legend can do. You can play super split from your team, you can be super aggressive, you can be super offensive, and so many different situations that other legends can't be because you just have a get out of jail free card. And her portal has so many different situations where it's just insanely good. You want to move your entire team from point A to point B, you can do it. You want to grab a new building in endgame spots, you can do it. You want a portal dance to stall timeout, you can do it. The only downside to Wraith really is her passive because it doesn't work a lot of the time, but that's just one small ability and it doesn't really make a huge difference with her character because she's still just insanely strong without it. But those are the two entry fraggers, so now let's move into the secondary fragger role. And the secondary fragger is the second one into the fight. It's kind of like entry fragger, you know, the name is very self-explanatory. But unlike the entry fragger, these are a little bit more oriented towards either helping the team with a bunch of utility or being a little bit more aggressive to wipe the fights. But the legends that are finding themselves here are the two scan characters, Seer and Bloodhound, and then I also do want to give a spot to Loba. I'm going to talk about Seer and Bloodhound together because they essentially do the same job on the team, they just have two different situations where they're better. Having wall hacks in fights is extremely important if you actually want to win it without having a ton of game sense. If you're not sure how enemies are going to be taking different fights, it doesn't matter because you can just see exactly where they're going. Now, like I said, there are just different situations where these two thrive. Bloodhound is a lot more offensive. With their ultimate, they're the second fastest running character in the game. They are extremely aggressive in certain situations. And with the White Ravens, they can get their ult back pretty much every single fight. So you're just constantly running people down. Seer, on the other hand, is a little bit more tactical. He's a little bit more team play oriented. You really want to time out his scans to cancel heals or revives, and you only really want to use your ultimate when everybody's fully engaged so you can get maximum usefulness out of it. If you use it too early, the other team can just wait it out. If you use it too late, then it's not really going to help you because you're already dead. Figuring out which one is actually a perfect fit for you depends on your playstyle. If you're offensive, try Bloodhound. If you're a little bit more thought out, play Seer. But the next legend we got to talk about is Loba, and Loba, actually like Bangalore, has seen a shift in their role. She used to be a support character, but again, now the playstyles are kind of shifting, she's more of a secondary fragger. She can be really good at taking off angles in fights. She can get your team a lot of heals, a lot of ammo, you can stall fights out, you can play zone really well. She's a really good all-around character because it doesn't matter what situation you throw her in, she can do well in it. And on top of that, she did get a massive buff at the start of Season 17 where she's actually giving a benefit to her entire team just by being on it. It doesn't matter if you're the support character or not, you can craft your teammates' banners, so that is another really solid reason to have Loba on your team. But Loba being in the secondary fragger role also opens up a lot of opportunities for your support character because they aren't forced to play an actual support. They can play a control legend and get you ring knowledge. Gives you a little bit more flexibility on your team comp. Now I know that the only legends that I did recommend were the 2 scans and Loba, but I also do want to give an honorable mention to Horizon here. Horizon is very niche right now, and she's kind of flip-floppy whether or not she's actually strong or not. But if you like being able to potentially wipe fights in 1 second just by throwing an ultimate out and a few grenades, Horizon is a very strong pick. She also has a lot of really strong vertical movement. It's not as good as it used to be, that's why she's kind of flip-floppy, but she's probably always going to be a solid pick if you have nobody else that you want to play. She is more of the aggressive secondary fragger where you can just absolutely wipe fights, but I do feel like I should have her on this list, so that's why she's an honorable mention. But now let's talk about the last role on the team, and this is the support role. And the 2 that I have for you guys here are Newcastle and Caustic. Now starting off with Newcastle, if you guys have been fans of the channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love him because he's strong. He is the best support character right now because he's good in every single situation. It doesn't matter if you're playing hybrid, zone, or edge, he can fit into every single one of those team comps and do well. On top of that, he can do stuff that no other support can do because he actually has a form of mobility. This allows him to play split, take off angles, be aggressive, and if something goes wrong, he can just ult back to his team, slam down some cover, and reset. I'm going to keep preaching about how strong he is until people actually realize it. If you want to play support and you want to be strong, play Newcastle. But the other support legend that I have here is Caustic. Now with the rank changes placing so much emphasis on actually getting higher placement points, Caustic is just a no-brainer for people that want to play zone. He can hold buildings extremely well and he can stall fights out, and if you get him to endgame situations, he can do so much and he can put in so much damage. His barrels are basically just set and forget and can allow you to control so much real estate in final circles. People aren't going to be wanting to push you because it's going to be taking too much health away from them. And when they're too busy shooting each other, you just throw a grenade in the middle of all of them, watch them tick to death, and just sit back and laugh. Now some people might be wondering, well, what about Watson? Doesn't she do the exact same job as Caustic? And yes, she does, but in those endgame situations, she's not as good. Her fences require you to actually walk up and place them, and sometimes they can be a little bit janky, but with Caustic, you just throw a trap out, you just yeet it into existence. Watson requires a little bit too much vulnerability with placing her fences down, but Caustic, he can just throw them from behind cover. That's why he's a better option in my opinion. Caustic also does have the added benefit of being a fortified legend. Some people don't want to play him because his hitbox is really big and they feel like he's way too easy to shoot, but he does have a very good trade-off of that damage reduction, and he also doesn't get any bullet slow. Trust me, I was also one of the people that was a little bit hesitant to pick Caustic up at first because of the size of his hitbox, but after learning him and kind of understanding a few things and how to play him in fights, I absolutely love him, and you can control so much with him. But let me know your favorite legend and what role you play in the comments down below. And if you guys want to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Apex Legends tips, tricks, and news, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I made Second Game, and I will see you guys in the next one.